Gazing at my reflection, I adjusted my anniversary attire, simultaneously practicing the enthusiastic smile I'd wear for Travis. Despite 6 years of marriage, I felt the familiar flutter, eagerly anticipating the surprise romantic meal I'd organized. What unfolded thereafter stands as a bitter memory, one leaving my stomach in knots still. I'm Blair, and this narrative recounts how, returning with more bags, Travis's efficiency incited something within me. Know what's ironic? I confided, eerily composed. I devoted weeks planning tonight. Reservations at Bella's. Nain raised her wine glass. To new beginnings. To new beginnings, I echoed, clanking our glasses together. And to karma being a patient friend. The electrical system requires a complete overhaul, the contractor stated, shining a flashlight around the dim community center. And the plumbing? Don't even get me started, he added. I took notes quickly. How long for renovations? At least 3 months, but once done, he gestured around, you can fit 4 offices, a conference room, and still have a space for group sessions. Perfect, I thought, picturing women gathering here, supporting and lifting each other up. Send me the quote by Friday, I requested. Once he left, I sat cross-legged amidst the dusty floor, spreading out my papers. Eric's grant would cover renovations and initial staffing, but more would be needed for long-term sustainability. My phone buzzed. It was Dad. Hey, sweetheart.
Les Miserables.
Not my problem, I interrupted. I know, but she's coming to realize her mistake. Travis is, well, Travis. You're the second person to say that today, I replied, unable to suppress a chuckle. He's back to his old antics, missing dates, working late, flirting with his secretary. Again, not my problem, I reiterated, pulling out my program materials.
Now.
The silence that engulfed the room when Lila stepped in was overwhelming. Mom clutched her wooden spoon like it was a weapon, and Dad cleared his throat. Well, he said a bit too cheerfully. Shall we eat? Dinner was painfully awkward. Forks clinked against plates, someone coughed, and Mom passed the rolls with unnecessary force. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore and asked, So, Lila, how's Travis? She winced and answered, I wouldn't know. We broke up last week. Mom's roll stopped halfway to her mouth, and Nain choked on her drink. What happened? I asked, trying to maintain a neutral tone. I caught him with his secretary. Lila laughed hollowly. Apparently, I should have seen it coming. Once a cheater. Oh, honey, Mom said, surprising myself, which is why I invited you here tonight. All eyes were on me. The Women's Advocacy Program launches next month. We aim to help women rebuild their lives after setbacks, divorce, career changes, bad relationships. I think your story could prevent others from making the same mistakes. She looked taken aback. You want me to what? Stand up and tell everyone how I ruined my cousin's marriage and got my just desserts. I want you to help other women recognize their worth, to see the red flags, to know they deserve more than being someone's backup choice. Tears spilled over Lila's cheeks. Why would you want to help me after what I did? Because holding on to anger is exhausting. Does this mean you'll stop plotting her demise?
Dad asked hopefully.
We'll see, Mom sniffed, but I noticed a small smile. Later, as everyone helped clean up, showing her the text. The program's getting real attention. You know who won't like that? Nain grinned. Travis. Travis doesn't get a vote anymore, I added as Lila reemerged from the doorway. I'll do it, she said. I'll share my story at the launch. Maybe it'll help someone else not make my mistakes. Thank you, I said, but Lila, this doesn't fix everything between us. I know, she replied, twisting her hands nervously. But it's a start, right? From another room, we heard Mom's voice rise in irritation. And another thing, who does Travis think he is? Moving on to his secretary? That boy never did have the sense God gave a goose. Dad's patient voice countered. I thought we agreed to let it go, dear. I'll let it go when I'm dead, Mark. Mom retorted. Nain, Lila, and I exchanged glances and burst into laughter. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress, and sometimes that's enough. As everyone left that night, I couldn't help but smile. The program was gaining momentum, family wounds were slowly healing, and karma was doing her thing. Travis was in for a surprise when the news story aired. This is about empowering women to realize their value, so they don't waste 15 years with someone like you. Is everything all right here? Eric appeared beside me, his presence strong and stabilizing. And you are? Travis's suspicion was audible. Eric Henry, major donor and board member. Eric answered with ease. And you are leaving, I interjected. Travis was just leaving. Travis's jaw clenched. This isn't over. Actually, it is, I replied, turning to Eric. Would you walk me back to my office? We should talk about that nomination. As we walked away, I heard Travis call after me, You've changed. I looked back briefly. Thank you. In my office, I sank into my chair. Well, that was enjoyable, I commented. You managed it brilliantly, Eric noted, sitting atop my desk. I could be biased, though. Biased, I echoed. I'm growing increasingly biased when it comes to you, he confessed, meeting my gaze. I can't date my largest donor. Why not? You're not that woman anymore, Blair. The one who plays it safe and worries about everyone else's opinions. She made a valid point. I wasn't that woman anymore. My phone buzzed with a text from Lila. Travis came by my place too, tried to persuade me not to speak at the launch. I told him to take a hike. I showed Peyton the message. Look at that, she beamed. Your cousin developed a backbone. Maybe we all did. I contemplated aloud. Now, about that dinner dress, she persisted. And I laughed as I opened my calendar. The annual family reunion hummed with a palpable tension. Aunt Martha's famous potato salad untouched as relatives stole glances at Leah and then at me. We had decided to come at different times, she in the afternoon, me in the evening, but plans shifted when a local news crew decided to cover the event. Ready for this? Naden appeared at my elbow, a glass of wine in hand. Define ready. I smoothed my dress down for what felt like the 100th time in 30 minutes. In half an hour, I would announce our program's success to our entire family and the evening news. Mom's already on her third glass of wine, Naden reported. Dad's stress-eating cocktail weenies. And guess who? I scanned the crowd until I found him looking uneasy in a tight polo, a blonde nervously hovering beside him. Uncle Rob invited him. Apparently, they're still golf buddies. Fantastic. I noticed Travis straighten up. Yes, it is, I said. The ceremony's next month, and we, hoping, Blair, a familiar voice called. Eric jogged up, slightly out of breath. Sorry, I'm late. Traffic was a nightmare. The reporter's eyes lit up. And who's this? Eric Henry, he responded smoothly, slipping an arm around my waist. Board member, donor, and proud boyfriend. Travis's cocktail glass shattered on the patio. Cut, the reporter called out, clearly thrilled by the drama. Can we get that entrance again? Actually, I said, I think Lee's ready to share her story. Are you? She nodded, straightening her shoulders. For the next hour, we discussed the program, healing, and turning past mistakes into missions. The camera captured every moment. No arguments. Yes, ma'am, he grinned. Did you see Travis's face? Leah asked quietly. When Eric showed up, I replied I was too busy looking at Eric. That's how I know you've moved on, she smiled, squeezing my hand. Thank you for everything. As the sun set and the reunion wound down, Eric and I sat under the oak tree sharing the last piece of Aunt Martha's potato salad. About that award ceremony next month, he started. Yes, I was thinking maybe we could make it a double celebration. My heart stopped. What do you mean? He pulled out a small velvet box. It's my profound honor to present this year's Women in Leadership Award to my cousin, my inspiration, and yes, my friend, Blair Rogers. The room erupted in applause. As I walked to the stage, Leah hugged me tightly, whispering, I hope this was okay. As I stood at the podium, scanning the crowd, I saw Travis at the back, appearing smaller than I remembered. My eyes were instead caught by Eric's proud smile, by the beaming faces of my family and the women whose lives we've impacted. Thank you. I started with gratitude. A wise person once said that life sometimes presents you with moments where you choose to either break down or break through. Looking out at the audience, I saw many women who chose to break through challenges. I shared stories of our program participants, the domestic violence survivor who now guides others, the divorced mom who launched her own business, the young woman who left behind a toxic relationship and discovered her voice. This award, I continued, is not just about me. It's about all those who supported this dream. My family, who taught me love is mightier than betrayal. Eric, who believed in me as I was learning to trust myself. I paused, meeting Travis's gaze. And yes, it even includes those who hurt us, because the deepest pain often leads us to our greatest purpose. The Rising Phoenix program is not only about helping women survive, but also thrive. The standing ovation that followed was thunderous. As I returned to my seat, Eric pulled me close and kissed me softly. "Proud of you," he whispered. Later, during the reception, Travis approached, appearing unsure and almost vulnerable. "Congratulations," he said quietly. "You've achieved something incredible here." "Thank you," I answered, serene. "How are you, honestly?" "Starting over," he admitted. "The secretary thing didn't pan out." I said, "There's a men's support group at the center on Thursdays if you're interested in real change." He nodded slowly. "Maybe I will," and Blair. "I'm really sorry for everything." "I know," I said calmly, "but I'm not." As he walked away, Eric wrapped his arms around me. "Ready to go home?" "Almost." I turned to face him. "Remember the promise ring?" "Of course," he said. "I'm ready when you are." From across the room, I heard Mom's delighted squeal and Nun's joyous laughter. Lee's smile caught my eye, genuine happiness replacing guilt that had haunted her for so long. The Rising Phoenix program, which began as my retaliation against betrayal, had evolved into something else. It had become my redemption, my purpose, my future. And standing there in Eric's embrace, surrounded by family, friends, and the women we helped, I knew it was just the beginning. "If you cry, I'll cry," Naden warned, adjusting my veil in the church dressing room. "I'm not crying," I lied, blinking rapidly. "Just thinking about how far we've come." "Save the reflection for your vows." Mom bustled in carrying my bouquet, though I still think you should have let me add more flowers to the centerpieces. "Mom, everything is perfect," I replied, looking at my reflection. Unrecognizable in the elegant white dress, even the centerpieces did not need more. A soft knock at the door revealed Leah and Anuka. "The program participants are all seated," Leah reported. "Front 3 rows, just like you wanted." "And Travis?" Nun asked hesitantly. "In the back with his new girlfriend," Anuka explained, "the counselor from the men's support group. They met through the program, actually." I smiled, recalling Travis's nervous phone call asking if he could bring her. He's been attending the support group regularly, working on himself, learning to be better. It felt right having him here, witnessing this new beginning. 5 minutes. Peyton called through the door. Dad appeared, looking dapper in his tuxedo. "Ready, kiddo?" "Almost." I turned to Leah. "Thank you for everything." She hugged me gently, mindful of the dress. "Thank you for showing me how to be strong." The wedding march began, and everyone scrambled into position. As Dad and I waited behind the closed doors, he squeezed my hand. "You know," he said softly, "sometimes the worst things lead us to the best." The doors opened, and Eric's face at the altar made everything else dissolve. He looked at me like I was his miracle, tears shining in his eyes without embarrassment. Our vows were personal, candid, sincere. Eric spoke of finding love when least expected, of seeing me turn pain into purpose. I shared about learning to trust again, about crafting something beautiful from broken pieces. The Rising Phoenix program taught me that every ending is just a beginning in disguise, I said, my voice steady despite tears. "Eric, you didn't just believe in my dream, you helped make it soar. And I promise to spend the rest of my life soaring with you." The reception was a blend of beauty and chaos with family, friends, and program participants. Mom danced with everyone. Dad's moving speech had the room teary-eyed, and then caught the bouquet, though she might have tackled someone to get it. "May I have this dance?" Travis's voice interrupted me during a slow song. I glanced at Eric, who nodded supportively. "You look happy," Travis remarked as we swayed awkwardly. "Really happy." "I am," I replied. "The program, it changed my life, too. It made me confront some hard truths about myself." "I know," I added. "Sarah told me you've been helping other men recognize their toxic behaviors." He gave a slight smile. "Karma works in mysterious ways, doesn't it?" "It does." I noticed Sarah watching us, her look gentle and approving. "She's good for you," I observed. "She is," Travis affirmed. "And Eric? He's everything I should have been." "No," I stated firmly. "He's exactly who he is, and I am exactly who I am. We can't change the past, Travis. We can only learn from it." The song concluded, and Eric appeared by my side. "Mind if I steal my wife back?" Wife. The word sent a delightful shiver through me. Later, as Eric and I swayed to our last dance, I scanned the room. Mom and Dad. Still deeply in love after 30 years. None flirting with Eric's best man, Layla, and Anuka laughing with program participants. Travis and Sarah bent close together, starting their own redemption story. "What are you thinking?" Eric asked softly. "Phoenixes," I replied. "How sometimes we must burn things down to build something better." "And did you build something better?" Eric questioned. I thought of the hundreds of women we'd helped, the transformations we had facilitated, the collective strength we discovered. And I thought of Eric, who saw my brokenness and called it beautiful.